Good show, good show, good show. Best Bachelor recap ever on the internet. Let's go, let's go. Hello, welcome to You Know Something with Dena and Tia. I'm Dena, and this is our Batch Chat.
And I'm Tia, and today is November 20th, 2024, and this is the finale.
Ooh, finally, Tia. Are you sad or are you relieved?
I am so elated.
That it's over, you mean?
Stand myself. Yes.
I pulled Tia kicking and screaming through these. So, as typical Bachelorette style, we start with a cold open on this one. And Joan is standing in her beautiful white sequin dress. That's going to be the dress she hopefully gets proposed in. And will it be Guy or Chalk? We don't know at this point. We kind of think we know. I predicted Guy in my typical loser fashion. Tia wants her to run, to be the runaway bride. Jump on a horse on the beach and ride on.
And rock on.
Normally there are two men left at the finale, and both of them will usually propose, Tia, to the female. You know, we watched The Golden Bachelor where it was the opposite dynamic, where he had to propose to someone. So normally she will deny one of them and they break down and fall down on their knees and all that kind of stuff. And it's always the first guy they bring out that we know is she's going to say no to, because they saved the one she says yes to for last. But in this case, let's see what happened. Joan promised a twist, and there was a twist this year. So Joan's dress, you know, however fashion, was $1,425. And her shoes are on sale, Tia, if you want to grab them.
I don't.
They're regularly $650. They're only $324.99.
Honestly, don't.
Did you like the dress, though? I mean, we'll talk about it later.
The dress.
Yeah, she looks good in white, I think. And that sequin, it's a Rodarte white floral embellished halterneck gown. And Sophia Webster shoes. The shoes are really pretty. Of course, I couldn't see the shoes on the show, so I Googled them, but they were really pretty. I'll include links if you guys want to buy that outfit for going out to Arby's or something. Okay, so then we go to the audience. We have a live audience, and Jessie, of course, is hosting. And they scan the audience. We see some of the ladies from The Golden Bachelor, which I thought that was kind of fun to see. Susan and Kathy and Nancy. They've been zhuzhed up. Susan and Kathy had some little face work done recently they were very open about, and they looked good. I think they were hoping to meet some mansion men, possibly. So Jessie, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm giggling.
Jessie speaks about Pascal and reminds us how he blindsided Joan on the last week, because we kind of left on a cliffhanger there with her feeling very unlovable. Right? And she was blindsided by Pascal's self-elimination. So then we go to Joan, which is a continuation from last week, and we see Joan crying on a couch, still wondering if she's lovable. Has she actually been crying, you think, since last week's episode?
You know what? I just put, it always hurts to be rejected. Again, it's 1 out of 3. Nancy is a great friend.
She really is.
And I think that Pascal was her go-to or want to. That's why I think that she's so...
Now, what do you mean by that, go-to or want to?
That's who she wanted.
Oh.
And because she was rejected, that's why... I mean, you always want something you don't have.
That's true. And he's very exotic and appealing because of his lifestyle. And I mean, imagine introducing him to your friends and ooh la la. You know, it's so different than what she's used to. So I get it. So you think she would have sent Guy home last week if Pascal had stayed? Okay. So, as we said, Nancy is a really good friend. And she knocks on the stateroom door. And Nancy's like, you know, what the heck's going on? So Joan tells Nancy that Pascal, oh, I keep saying Pascal left her, and she feels, Tia,
rejected and hurt and unlovable.
Although 2 other men
She feels so unsafe.
I know. She might fall off the boat if she's not careful. I adore Nancy like you. She's so sweet. And she tells Joan, you know you're not unlovable.
Right.
There's
and I think she's just a really great friend.
She
Everything
is.
she said, I mean, even though Joan was being a bit of a crybaby, sorry, I have to admit that.
I do.
But she was like, you're not unlovable. But she said all the correct things, but she didn't like tiptoe around the tulips telling her. She
Tough
just was
love.
like, yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't you love for Nancy to be your friend? I just think she tells it like it is, but with such a sweet voice and understanding nature. She's just great. Joan says something like, I went through this process expecting a prize at the end, and now I feel like it's not going to happen. And Nancy said, because of Pascal? Are you kidding? So I'm like you. This convinces me that I think Joan wanted Chalk and Pascal to be her final two. And maybe she wanted Pascal to get down on his knee and her say, no, I don't think so. Yeah, maybe. But you feel like she would have said yes and no to Chalk. So that'd be bad for Chalk to think that, I think. Nancy tells her to quit being a big goofball, in so many words. Get your shizzle together. Because Joan's logic makes no sense. They held hands, and Nancy tells her she does deserve love. So Joan is in Bora Bora.
Mm-hmm. My sister went to Bora Bora on their 25th anniversary.
What did she think about it?
Loved it. Oh, and it's gorgeous.
It really is. Those, what do you call them? Shacks or whatever, that go out the piers at the end of the water, and the water's just like green,
That's
blue.
not what they're called.
I can't think of the name. They said it. And
I know. Cabanas.
Cabanas. Ah, beautiful. All right, she says Bora Bora has got to be on everyone's bucket list. Joan's, feeling good. She's in her gown. She's doing her makeup. And, that's one of the questions they ask on your application. What is on your bucket list? So maybe she had Tahiti and Bora Bora on her bucket list. So Joan meets with her kids. This is the first time we've really met them, right? Or seen them. She needs to hear from her kids before she decides, because they are her life, Tia.
Mm-hmm.
Two of Joan's kids, her daughter Allie and her son Nick, are the ones that come. And they're with their partners. Nick's kind of a hard butt. Her two older children...
Well, wait a minute. You skipped the part, because, see, I pay attention to things. When they showed Chalk and Guy arriving in Bora Bora, I wrote, Chalk really packed a lot more than Guy. Guy's suitcase was like this big.
Maybe he knew he was going home.
I don't know.
Oops, I spoiled it. Spoiler alert. So, Joan's two children, Erica and youngest Luke, are not there. That's a good find, Tia. I did miss that. I bet I was looking down when it happened. So, Joan tells them about Guy and Chalk. I mean, she has to catch him up. I listened today to an interview with her post-show, and she said, I haven't talked to my kids since I left the house to go to be at the Bachelorette. So, all of a sudden, they're flying across the world, and she's going to walk in and say, okay, I love this man and I love this man. Which one do you love the best? So, that's kind of explains, I think, well, especially her son was kind of like taken aback. Joan catches him up, tells him about Guy and Chalk. She says Guy's an amazing family man, handsome and smart, and Chalk is a caregiver, which I thought that was kind of a...
Weird.
Yeah. Sounds like she likes Guy better there. She says the process was harder than she thought it would be, and that she thought about their dad a lot. She cries. Was she honoring him by doing this? If she really loved him, how could she do this? And Nick, her son, he's got this kind of weird look on his face, like, I'm kind of in shock here, which I don't blame him. He's like the patriarch of the family now that his dad has passed, so it's probably kind of weird to see his mother moving on. And it's only been 3.5 years, so if she started trying to date a couple of years ago, because she was on The Golden Bachelor a year ago, he's probably having some hard time with it. So I'm trying to give him that grace, but he says it's refreshing to hear this, because it should be hard. So that made me think he wondered if she even was feeling bad about doing it, It's refreshing to hear you say that. You've never said that before. Did you take it that way? Almost like a little resentfulness, maybe?
He's a child.
What do you mean?
Oh, I mean, he's a child. I mean, if she wanted to do it last year, it's really none of his business.
I agree. But
okay.
I mean,
he's an adult. She's an adult. Let your mother live.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't he didn't seem thrilled about it. This is kind of different, Tia, and it's a personal question. Let me ask you, when your mother passed, she was married to your stepfather. Your parents had already divorced. Did your stepfather move on?
Yes.
Quickly, or it's not quite the same because he wasn't your blood parent,
Right.
but did it make you feel kind of weird when he...
No, I wanted him to be happy, as would have my mom.
Oh, that's so good of you. So you're much more evolved.
No, I actually set him up on a date.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
It's hard to know how you would felt if that had been your father. You know, if instead of your parents divorcing, your dad had died, how you would have felt about your mom moving on. You don't know till you're there, you know?
Right.
Okay, she talks to them and kind of makes them feel better. Was there anything else you want to say about that first initial reunion with her kids?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Joan sees Chalk. Joan and Chalk meet on the dock. They seem so happy to see each other. They kiss and they talk about her family. Chalk wonders if his kids are okay with Joan getting into a serious relationship, and she says, well, let's go find out. I was nervous for Chalk. So Chalk meets the family. And Chalk is really still gung-ho over Joan, you could tell. Like, he was so glad to be back with her. I think absence definitely made his heart grow fonder.
And I put, a kiss is just not that important, especially when you first meet the family. Silly.
Yes.
Because he said, oh, I just have to kiss her. I'm like, well, that was just the weirdest off-the-wall thing.
He said he did the same thing in front of his family. Yeah. To say, look, this is how much I mean to her. To me, it's kind of like, she's mine, and this is what's happening, and you just need to get used to it, and here's what it looks like. You know, I kind of took it that way.
Well, I put, Nick is not moved.
No, he did not like it.
And I said, Chalk acts like a salesperson.
Yeah, he does. He does. I kind of clenched my buttocks when he did that. It was cringy for me. Almost like he was marking his territory.
He's got a lot of cringeworthy moments, doesn't he?
Maybe it'll make my booty more firm.
Oh,
Watching
maybe.
him. He assures the kids that he's crazy about their mother and very serious about their relationship. And Nick says, Chalk seems nice. I guess he said this to the camera. This is just my note. But he has big shoes to fill when it comes to his father.
Mm-hmm.
And Joan has 4 kids to give her all to. So he needs to be a good partner. He hoped Chalk understands that she's got kids she's given her all to. I thought that was kind of ick and selfish.
Yeah, and I put, I'm so glad her children make her feel safe and loved.
Yeah, Nick was, I didn't like that he said that. But again, he's a young guy. She can't give her all to her kids. She's got to have something for herself. They're adults. So Chalk talks to Nick and his fiancée. Nick talks about the short time frame of this process. And, you know, it's natural for us to be nervous about someone new coming into the family in such a short amount of time. But he also talked about how Joan put the family back together after his dad passed away. They were all broken, and she's rebuilt it, and now it's her turn to find her happiness. So he kind of came around, you think?
Mm-hmm. But I wanted to know why the daughter didn't say anything.
Oh, I don't know.
She didn't. That was weird to me. Very weird.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't want to be on camera, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, she was on camera, but not like talking in front of the camera.
Yeah, maybe she's just camera shy.
Maybe.
You know, and the producers, I think they kind of take you and say, okay, we're going to film this scene. Aren't you kind of worried about him taking your place, Nick? And don't you feel like this is awful quick? You know, they work people up, or here's your theme. And then I think they said, okay, now talk about how Joan helped you all, the family, and now she deserves her happiness. I just think they coach these people and make them say these things. He has extremely high expectations for whoever's going to replace his dad. Understandable. And Chalk said, hold on, I'm not here to replace your dad in any way. I'm just here to love your mom and have adventures with her. So I think he liked that. So then Joan talks with Allie. You know, like you said, she didn't really want to talk to the camera alone, apparently. Joan tells Allie about how much she and Chalk love each other and how they've helped each other with their grief, because they both were grieving partners. She acknowledged that it was really sucked what happened with Allie. She was cheated out of her father way too soon. She acknowledged her pain. It was crappy that it happened. She knows that they both have pain. And I thought that was good that she acknowledged, you know, I lost my husband, but you also lost your father, so I know you're hurting. Allie says, well, you do need someone, Mom. No matter how many massages we buy you or dinners we take you out on, we're not your partner. We can't replace that affection for you. So I thought that was sweet. So then Joan talks with Nick, the son. Nick says he kind of cautiously approves of Chalk. Joan says she was worried that they would be angry with her for moving on. I'll always love Dad, but you guys are going to have your own life soon and your own families, and I want my own little unit. And then Nick said, Tia, this episode made me tear up a few times, and you know how I am about tearing up. It just doesn't happen. So Nick says, do you realize how proud we are of you? Mm-hmm. That made me tear up. I can't imagine how good that feels to have your children. I'll never know. Your children proud of you. So that really touched me. You tell us to be courageous and take risks all the time. And to see you do it in such a graceful, perfect way is incredible. And I was just thinking about how firstborns, especially sons and moms, they seem to have a really special bond. That's the first woman he fell in love with, was his mother. So, and they've known each other the longest of her whole family. They end that with, I think it feels pretty good, don't you? Mm-hmm. She kind of got their approval, I think. So then Joan and Chalk talk. Chalk feels good about how his meeting went with Joan's kids. I mean, he would have said that no matter what. He thinks everything goes well no matter what. He thinks he sold them. Don't you think? Kind of feel that way. He said, I wish God the best, but I really don't. To the camera, he said, I wish God the best, but I really don't because I want Joan for myself. So then Joan and Chalk, and just stop me if you have anything to say about that, anything. They get together that evening and he pops some champagne. She tells Chalk that she saw some emotion from him today. Like that's a weird thing, unusual thing. I'm not sure why she said that or what happened, but maybe they talked off camera. He said, well, I didn't want you to see that. I just never figured out what they were talking about. Maybe I missed it. Did you catch anything?
I thought it's when, after he had given the keys.
Well, that was at the very end, so
okay.
It couldn't have been that. There's something happening.
He's just a bit ooey-gooey for me.
Yeah, I know you feel that way. She says, you're always super poised, and you don't have to be that way around me. He says that's something I need to work on. And Joan says she's also trying to let the emotions flow. We both just need to let it go and let our emotions be expressed. But my heart has really opened up. And if you don't go through hard times, you don't know what the good times are. So she's finally getting her good times. And then Chalk gives Joan a gift. And remember, Joan's love language is gifts, Tia. It's just so weird to me. And it's a card about how they've talked about wanting to spend time in New York City, which we didn't know that. That's something they talked about off camera. At least I didn't remember that conversation.
Me either.
And it was a heart lock, right, with 2 keys.
Yeah. That was weird. I thought he already bought a place there or something.
Oh, you did?
Well, they had keys.
Yeah, it's pretend.
Okay, well, no kidding.
It's intention keys.
You can tell I don't watch any of these shows because I was like, why would you give her keys and then just say, and now we'll go find a place?
Yeah, because keys are a lot cheaper than an apartment in New York
Well,
City.
apparently.
I don't know. I'm assuming they know how much apartments are. I mean, my goodness, of all places. So John nods and smiles, but she doesn't, and he tells her he loves her. She doesn't say it back because she said she wasn't going to until there was one guy left. I put, this is the first time she's heard I love you. I felt like Chalk. Oh, this is the first time I've heard I love you since John died. I thought Chalk had said it before, but maybe he said I'm crazy.
He did too. Well, no,
he said that a lot, right?
Yeah, he did. I thought he had said I love you too.
I did too.
Because he had said she'd never said it back.
Yeah, how could she say it back if he didn't say it back?
Well, all right.
I don't know. So Chalk says it a couple more times, and she still is just like, thank you. So finally he says, okay, I'll stop saying it. So then Chalk says to the camera, I put it all out there on the table, and Joan still didn't say it back to me. He thinks it's going to come, but he doesn't. It's not right now, but what if she told Guy she loved him? I don't know. What am I supposed to do? So then we're like, da-da.
Okay, so when I played it over 1,000 times. Did he say a bad word?
I don't know.
Because I didn't know if he said that or that.
Surely not.
Well, I mean, if you watch it, I mean, because it's right as the camera's
What was the sentence? What did he say? Oh, just as an expletive as they were leaving, the camera was pulling away or something?
Yeah, and I didn't know if he said...
GD or damn.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Wow, I don't know if they say that on The Bachelor or not. So he's obviously struggling with that. I'm about to propose to somebody who doesn't tell me they love me, which is weird. It's weird. All right, so all in all, that went really well. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I predicted she'd ask Guy, and I'm thinking, no, it's chalk. It's chalk. That went too well. And if she goes to Guy and acts the same way with her family, it's going to be weird. Although that's what they always do, Tia. They always go through the same thing.
Okay.
Which is weird. It's weird.
Very.
So the next day is Guy's date, and it's pouring rain.
And by the way, what did I call those little things? Because they're called bungalows.
Bungalow. No, that's not what you said.
Okay.
I forgot what you said, but bungalow. That's right.
Yes, that's what they're called.
Yeah. So, Guy says, it's torrentially raining, but it won't stop Joan and I from having a bright day. Wah, wah. So the rain was an omen. And I felt a pit in my stomach because I could just feel it coming. Guy believes
I didn't.
You didn't know it was coming?
No.
Oh, good.
I mean,
you enjoy things more than I do because you don't.
No, I was just thinking, bless his heart, all he's got out is a journal. There's no champagne. There's no food. There's no nothing.
He was journaling. I think they just threw him in there and said, sit here for a minute.
Yeah.
Here's a blank notebook. Journal.
Wow.
He's like, what am I supposed to write?
Do.
Okay. So Guy believes he's fallen in love with Joan. He believes he's fallen in love with Joan. So I don't know if he deserves Joan if that's how he's feeling at this point. He's ready to get down on one knee, though, and propose. I don't think they should make these guys over 60 get down on their knee. Because I don't know about you, but when I get up off my knee, it's like, oh, hold on. But meanwhile, Joan is walking towards the bungalow. Yeah, Tia, you came up with the word. I put toward the place where Gary is staying because I couldn't think of the word. She's carrying an umbrella, and it's clear so we can see her pretty face and her long hair. She kind of looks like she's dressed down a little bit. I think just like white jeans or something. So Joan says, today Guy was supposed to meet my family. Da-da. And that's when I thought, ooh, I'm going to have to watch this through my hands, like with my fingers peeking through a little bit. Joan says, after my date with Chalk, I woke up thinking about him, and I know I found love. She knows where her heart is. She doesn't think Guy knows what's coming, and that makes it harder. No, he does not, Joan.
Okay, I went, wow, she's letting him go before she even enters his bungalow? Wow.
She should just leave a note or knock on the
window.
window.
I feel actually sadness for Guy.
I did too, Tia. I cried. Not like...
No, I didn't.
Tears went down my face. Okay, maybe it was because I knew I lost.
Well, I mean, this... You'd already lost a long time ago.
Well, but I last week I made a prediction that I was trying to salvage something there.
No, you couldn't.
All right, so
I'm not a very good loser.
I'm not. I just don't do it that often. I don't know how to act. So she knocks on the door. I think I would not throw a note and run. But she knocks on the door, and Guy welcomes her happily. And I think he said, how are you? And she said, I'm great. And I thought, wow, okay.
Liar.
Of course, I guess she is great.
Well, yes, she is.
I'm in love. I'm excited. When he, let's see, in the meantime, I had to pause the TV to go to the potty because I was having like the tummy trouble stress thing. So I had to run out of the room.
Okay. That was not necessary to put in this.
Too much to share.
Yeah. TMI.
Joan talks about what an amazing bungalow he has. Wow, it's nice in here. Too bad you don't get to stay in here much longer. You won't be spending the night. She didn't say that, but she says, I can't believe we're down to the last two. That was a weird thing to say. I guess it's like, what do you say? What do you say? He said, it's really down to one. Yeah, wow. And then she kind of gets serious. And he's still grinning with that big white grin he has. Those big choppers. And she says she's put her whole heart into this journey. And if they all did that, they would all end up where they're supposed to be. I think she was kind of struggling what to say. At Guy's hometown, she said she was able to see a life with him for the first time. And you are supposed to meet my family today. She pauses and sighs. And then I think Guy knows the jig is up.
Mm-hmm.
He's
And it hits him from left field.
oh my gosh. I was so sad. Whew. And then she continues that her biggest hope and her fear is that she would end this journey having strong feelings for someone. I think she was going to say my biggest hope and fear was that I would end this journey. My biggest fear was that I would end up with two people. But I think she thought, no, Chalk's going to watch this. I don't know, maybe I was reading too much into it. But I felt like she was thinking, Chalk's going to see this. What do I say? I don't want to hurt him, though. I don't want to hurt Guy. But anyway, it was awkward. The scary part is that she would have to send somebody home. And I'm here to tell you that my heart belongs to somebody else. Guess who?
Yeah, I know. I mean, hello. But I put her reasoning was good, especially not having him to meet the family.
Right. That would have been awful.
Right. Deplorable. And that would have made me throw something at the TV. But I said, does he get to finish his vacation in Bora Bora?
He should. He could be their cabana boy.
Well, I'm just saying. See, I find humor in this. I didn't cry once. I didn't even tear up.
You didn't feel bad for him?
Uh-uh. Oh. Well, no, I paused it a lot, but that's only because I was getting something to eat.
Oh, okay. Well, were you shot? Were you shot? Okay. I mean, they could have said, like, Guy, we're going to be in the bungalow next door, and you can stay, but if the bungalows are rocking, don't come and knock.
Okay, no. Boy, you really just in your own little world, aren't you?
And she goes on to say, I care about you so, so much. We talked about being seen, and I saw you, Guy, every date I saw you. My heart belongs to somebody else. I'm not going to tell you who, nanner. And instead of putting you through meeting my family and showing up on the last day, I want to spare you all that because I do care about you so much. And then he's just like, got his eyes closed, like, this isn't happening. Probably trying not to cry. And, you know, what if she had taken him, let the kids meet him, and the kids had liked him better?
Oh, I know. She didn't. So let's proceed.
What would have happened? I mean, I think she might have thought that. I don't even want to give them the option for somebody else. Guy closes his eyes and looks visibly shaken. He cries. I mean, he actually cries. They hug, and I could hear his breathing in the microphone, you know, when they were hugging the little mics they carried. So he was truly upset.
Right, and then I put, let's not kiss and say bye-bye.
Don't kiss. Just say bye. That's what you mean. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I mean, I was kind of afraid he might shoot her with his finger guns like he did his ex. Get out of here. And then Guy kind of gets himself together a little bit to talk. He said, I felt so good today. Now, he's saying this through tears in case you didn't watch. It's not like he's okay now. I fell in love with you. I was ready to let it all out. I wasn't expecting this at all. And I believe him. Joan said she had to go all in so that she wouldn't leave something on the table. So she went all in with him and made him feel, you know, like, I'm all in with you, just to see if it could be him. Guy said, there's no changing your mind? But, oh my God, my heart.
I just laughed.
You're so cold.
No, I'm not. I'm just honest.
Joan says, no. But you know that made her feel good. Like, he really was into me. Because you know, she is about that. You are lovable, Joan. She said, no, I love you, but I love you in a different way. Guy said he had decided to tell her kids that he was in love. He was going to tell them that. And that he was going to propose. And Joan kind of like, thank you for loving me, she said. And he whispers in her ear, I knew we would have been happy together. I know we would have been happy together. And Joan nods. So Joan kind of got her cake and eat it too there. Got somebody else crazy about her, and she got to reject them. So they embraced one last time. And I put they kissed. Did they kiss on the lips?
I think it was a cheek, because I said, let's not kiss and say bye-bye.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
Ugh.
Yeah. He watches her walk away into the rain, and he actually walks out into the rain without an umbrella. And he goes over the railing and hangs over and cries. I felt, he killed me, Tia. And his body looked really good with a wet shirt on, I thought. So then they interview Guy, and his eyes are all red. He said he's feeling sick to his stomach. He loved Joan, and he thought it was going to happen. Joan tells us that she feels terrible about hurting him, but her heart belongs to Chalk.
I know, but I said, Joan, you're exactly right. Your heart feels what it feels, just like Pascal's heart felt what it felt.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
Defending your boy.
No, I'm just saying, your heart feels what it feels.
Yeah, he broke her heart and she broke Guy's heart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why she couldn't say, my heart belongs to Chalk. Why belongs to somebody else? I don't get it. But so, and she does have 2 keys to an imaginary apartment, so she's got it made.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot make yourself love someone. That's true. So we go back to the live audience. The audience was kind of like, while all this was happening, we could see in the corner the people's reaction to it, different people. And we see Guy come into the hot seat. And he looked fine.
No, I said, I absolutely love his suit.
God, he looked good. I mean, I know you don't like him, but if you just saw a picture of him, he
looked great.
Yeah.
He really did.
And I think he really wanted to say, bleh. Look at me, I'm doing good. So Guy says at the time of the breakup was happening, everything was just a blur. So he was actually standing there watching it for the first time on that monitor backstage. And you could tell he was like, whoa. I wonder if he was embarrassed or just felt that hurt. I don't think he was ashamed of his tears, which is good. He said it was heartbreaking to watch it back. The emotions he was feeling at that time were sincere. And I truly did not expect it. I thought I was the guy. I was convinced. And he still seems emotional about it. He told Jesse that he didn't think he could ever feel true love again at this time in his life. But he did, so that gives him hope, And he's really looking forward to seeing Joan again. And then Joan and Guy are together in the hot seats. He brings Joan out, and I saw him kind of look her up and down, and he looked still in love to me, or lust, in any way. And she looked really good. She's wearing a white and gold strapless dress. It had like the metal gold top. Oh, beautiful. It's another one of those $2,000 Randy Rome dresses. Her hair and makeup looked the best I've ever seen it. His guy was just staring. Anyway, they hug and they whisper that they were both so happy to see each other again. Guy assures her, he says, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm not going to shoot you with my finger again. And Joan said she is glad to hear that. Guy says to Joan, you probably remember that I seemed to be like a slow burn. My heart was guarded. I was skeptical. He didn't think he could get where he eventually got. And watching the end was very difficult for him, he told her. He reflected on it a lot, and he wanted to know one question. Is there anything I could have done differently? Was there something that was left out? I mean, he's still not given up on it. Is there something missing I should have done? And she said, well, it's kind of the opposite. I never thought I could have feelings for two people, but I was getting there with you. It just came down to a time thing. Like, she and Chalk started out faster than him. So, I mean, if he had hung around long enough, would she have come? I thought that was just... Do you understand that thinking? Like, oh, so you think she's just trying to make him feel better? Or if I could just spend more time with you, I might have fallen in love with you instead?
He was a slow burn.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was the whole point.
Right, where her and Chalk were just like, from the beginning.
Right. And Guy laid back a little bit, so...
Yeah, you snooze, you lose, Guy. She said he's amazing, a caregiver. She uses that word a lot. So full of love with the men and with her. And it was hard to say goodbye because in any other situation, she would have been with him because they would have had more time. I hope we finally will be able to talk and be friends because we're not allowed to communicate up until that time. And Guy says, that'd be great. And I listened to a podcast where someone said they got a message from a friend of Guy's, and she said, he's doing great. He's recovered. He's okay.
I said, I'm glad he said he could love again.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Good.
But in the audience, wasn't that his daughter that rolled her eyes, and she's not buying anything Joan's saying?
That was actually Joan's daughter. And I'm trying to figure out what that look was.
Oh, that was Joan's daughter?
Yeah.
Okay, she rolled her eyes, and because it went quick, and I didn't want to rewind it. So.
What did that mean? Did it mean Joan shouldn't be saying that to him?
Well, no, I mean, I just shut up and get on with it. That's what I was thinking.
All right. Since the show has aired, you know how people come out of the woodwork. They all want to be a part of this fame. And I had mentioned, I wonder why women who have dated these guys don't come out more and say this, and this about them. They must be great guys. So there's a woman who calls herself Mama Bear Advice on Instagram. Here's the thing that's happened with Guy since that show. And I'm going to play it, so to record it, to capture it. And if after you listen to it, if you say, Dena, I don't think we should include that, then we'll cut it out.
I dated the second runner-up on the Golden Bachelorette. Let's get into it. But first, Joan, you dodged a huge bullet, girl. Good for you. We went on a total of 2 dates. The first date went fine. We went to a wine bar, totally casual. It was a good date. I liked him. Our second date, we decided to go to the movies, and I did a big no-no, ladies. I let him pick me up. We decided to go to the Elvis movie, and please keep that in the back of your mind, because towards the end, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So we got our popcorn with butter, which I just love. Ladies, I know you're feeling me. And we sit down. Previews haven't even started. They begin. I'm eating my popcorn, and all of a sudden, he takes my hands, and he proceeds to start licking my fingers. And I'm thinking, oh my God, did he really just do this without even knowing me? Yes, he did. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, the movie hasn't even started yet, and I've got to sit here. I'm so uncomfortable at this point. I get through the movie, and he drives me home. And I'm thinking, oh God, just let me get home safely. He walks me to my door, and yep, he's like, I need to use your restroom. Do you mind? So basically, ladies, he's now in my house. Back then, my boundaries weren't so great. And I'm like, do you want a glass of water? And he goes, yeah, great. So we proceed to sit down on my couch. Cringe moment number 2. He begins then to show me videos of him singing karaoke of Elvis. Nice. He starts sitting a little closer, and then he begins to start kissing me. I totally pull back, and I'm like, I don't know what type of women you're dating in Reno, but I'm not that kind of gal. He then looks at me dead serious, and he says, well, can I at least see the sisters? At this point, I am shocked, like beyond. He doesn't say sisters, he says another word, and I don't want to get banned from TikTok. So, lovely Joan, you dodged a bullet. I was so happy when I saw that.
Thoughts? Is that terrible?
I think who gives a crap what she says?
Yeah. She said people are like, well, how do we know? Who are you? You're just riding on his coattails. But she says she's going to show texts of him talking about licking her fingers.
I know, but who cares?
Well, I think he's a good, now that we have talked about the fact that he did not get chosen, don't you think he's in the running for the Golden Bachelor probably? Wouldn't he be the next logical? He got his heart broken. He's good looking.
Okay, well.
Does that make you feel ick?
Yeah, it
okay,
does.
Me too. We'll see how that plays out. You can follow her. She's obviously going to get a lot of followers and say things like that. But that's an Elvis movie. That Elvis movie came out a few years ago. So, maybe that's when he was going through his desperation stage. But I don't want to weigh in on what I think about his actions and her actions. I just let people decide what they think about that. All right, so back to Bora Bora. Joan is powdering her face, doing her final touches in her white sequin gown we spoke about at the beginning of the episode. She's carried by boat out to the beach, which is like the proposal area. She looks like, it looks like a scene out of a movie. She's standing on the bow of the boat, holding the railing, looking out at the beautiful sky. Her hair's blowing in the wind. She's walking through the sand toward the hopefully proposal spot, and it's decorated with flowers. It's been an overwhelming and emotional journey for Joan. She wakes up most morning thinking about John, but this morning she didn't feel sad when she woke up. Her future feels brighter, and chalk is the reason. I know I'm in the right place. I've only been in love with one person, more than one now. She wants to spend the rest of her life with Chalk. She's in love with him, so she finally says the L word. Not to him, but to us. He makes her see a future again. This is all a life-changing day, no matter what happens. So I guess she figures if he doesn't ask her to marry him, she's still in love and knows that she can love, and maybe they would just date. I don't know. She says you rarely get to say at 61 years old that you're having a life-changing day. So, meanwhile, Chalk is putting on a blue suit. He looks nice, very nice. And looking at the engagement ring from Neil Lane, Tia. And he picked it out for Joan. And he's looking at it on the boat, and I'm afraid he's going to drop it.
No, I said, are you crazy? Do not hold the ring over the water. I mean,
it's like the movie Titanic.
There's just some people that are just not smart.
Maybe it wasn't the real one. I don't know. That made me nervous. It was hard to see the ring, but I did my little research and I found it. I have a photo here for Tia to look at. And that'll be our little photo in our show notes that I'll put so you can see it. The ring is handmade emerald cut, platinum ring. Some people were criticizing it, saying all she wears is gold jewelry. Now, I hadn't noticed her metal of choice, but platinum's kind of in a class all by itself, I think. It's got a lot of little diamonds around it, which, it's just a matter of taste, I guess. Neil Lane is who they're always using. He's always got a little pave diamonds everywhere. In total, it's 4 carats. Your ring is the bomb.com, Tia. I don't know if you mind me talking about it, but it's blinding. So I respect your opinion on a nice ring. What did you think about the ring?
I think the ring is pretty.
Yeah, I think it's very classy and clean looking.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Joan could switch it out if she wanted to. And to me, she strikes me as the kind of person who would look at it and say, I like it, but I think I'd prefer that, she wants to be in on it. She's very concerned about image, so I haven't really heard her talk about it. But I can't remember her reaction. We'll see what her reaction is when she sees it. So, Chalk says he wants a partner in crime, and he's found it in Joan. I have a feeling of love for Joan that you want that person to be in your life so bad. That's what he said. I typed exactly what he love a person that you want to be in your life so bad. Okay. I'm overcome that at 60 I'm able to propose to a woman, the woman of his life. So Jesse greets Chalk on the beach while Joan waits at the end. Chalk tells Jesse that Joan means the world to him and that he's in love, and they hug each other. Chalk heads towards the beach.
And then I put, he's going to have so much sand in his shoes.
They should have let him do it barefoot. Come on. He's nervous because she hasn't said she loves him yet, and that creates some self-doubt. He might not be what she wants, and his heart would be absolutely ripped out if that's the case. So he reaches Joan finally, and she looks pleased. He looks pleased. They embrace. And Chalk is kind of an awkward speaker and writer, I think. He's just so businesslike and kind of has to stick up his butt. But he basically just says, I've got a array of emotions. He tells her that they had a magical journey, and she's the most giving, selfless woman he's ever met. And as they look forward, they need to look back on John and Kathy. He gives her his word he'll honor her deceased husband every day by loving her, and promises she will never be invisible to him, which is very important to Joan, to be visible, as we know. He loves her and still can't believe it's happening. He feels like it's a dream, and he's going to wake up. And Joan responds by saying about a year and a half before she decided that she needed love back in her life. And on their first date in Disneyland, she saw the future with him. So, like we said to you, it was a immediate kind of, I don't think anybody else stood a chance ever, really. And then when tragedy struck Chalk, his mother died, she didn't know, she was worried he wouldn't come back. And when he was gone, she said she realized she could not go on this journey without him. And I did hear her say that today. She said if he hadn't come back, I was going to go to the producers and say, I know I signed a contract, but I don't want to go through with this. So nobody else ever stood a chance. You made me feel comfortable. You made me feel
safe.
I felt like we could take care of each other. I knew you would never hurt me. Now, Joan, he's going to hurt you at one point in time or another. She started to picture their future together and says, we're living proof that no matter what life throws at you, there is still hope, even at our old, decrepit, almost dead age. I waited until this moment, until we were in this amazing location, to tell you that
I love you.
I love you too, Tia. And then they kiss. And then Chalk kneels down.
I didn't tell you. You asked me what he said. Really?
So he kneels down. Did he kneel down in the sand? Did his knee?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I had to throw that suit out. And Joan says, "Of course I'll marry you." And they kiss and they shout, "We're engaged." And then, of course, we have to get out the old ugly gold rose and pin it on. I wonder how they made that. They just like paint a rose with golden leaf paint or something. I don't know. Chalk says he knows John and Kathy are looking down on them. This is what they would have wanted to happen. They FaceTime her mom, who I'm still so happy that she's okay. She's a hoot. To introduce her to Chalk. And it's the first time she's seen Chalk. And they're married.
No, they're engaged.
They're engaged. You're engaged. She seems a little shocked, but she says, "Well, you make a nice looking couple." She's just a sweetie. And then they play "A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes," the Disney song, while they get right off the boat into the sunset. And of course the audience is like, "Yes, yes." And did you think it was pretty? And I mean, were you moved at all by that, or were you your hard self?
No, it was fun. I mean, that was a great place to get engaged, and it was beautiful.
Yeah. I think I've asked you this before, and I can't remember now. How did Greg propose to you? You guys were together for a while before you got married, so was it just kind of a casual?
No, we met on April 17th, and then a year later, on April 17th, we were married. So
you just kind of planned that our anniversary date's when we'll get married?
No, I don't know. We just knew.
So it was just kind of understood.
Yeah.
Kind of like you and Joan and Chalk.
We didn't, there was no, "Oh, you marry me," or anything like that.
No, like, official.
We just knew.
Oh, that's sweet. I like that. So the audience cheers, welcomes Joan and Chalk onto the stage for the first time as a couple, and they look great together. They show the kids in the audience, and I thought Chalk's son Tyler didn't look real thrilled, but, you know, that camera can catch you when you have a resting, grouch face, so I'm not going to read much into that. Now, Chalk, his mom is still alive, so it's kind of weird. It's not like, oh, my dad has found love after loss, but his mom is still there. So Jesse admires the ring, says Chalk has good taste. Chalk says this is scarier coming on stage in front of an audience than it was to propose to her. So he's not a showbiz guy. I think Joan is. It's been an incredible ride with Joan, and he couldn't be happier. He just wants to tell everybody how classy Joan was and how she handled everybody with respect and dignity, how she made all the guys feel good, even when she had to send them home, because her rose ceremonies were really difficult. And that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with her, because she was so nurturing to everybody. And I did feel that too. You and I talked about that, how she really, if she's with somebody, she's looking them in the eye and concerned about them and taking the time. That's a real talent. Joan says it was really a relief to say, "I love you," finally to Chalk, because she had actually been holding it in for quite some time. So there was no hope for Guy ever, or Pascal Tia. They had been spending some time together.
Because Pascal dumped her.
True.
So.
True.
Just saying.
She would never admit she ever loved him, I guess, right? So we see photos of their secret getaways. They allow the couples to sneak together, but they can't go out in public together until the show finishes airing. So they showed some photos of them, things they were been doing. Like he said, we've been playing crossword puzzles and getting to know each other better. Chalk said his kids thought he worked for the CIA or something because he kept leaving and couldn't tell them. But I can't believe they didn't tell the kids. Then we have a college football ad. They're adding more people to the SEC. They showed the montage of Chalk saying, "I'm crazy about Joan. I'm crazy about her."
No, I put crazy, really, 70,000 times. Wow.
He just couldn't say the L word at that point.
Gary is somebody that I saw, and every time they showed Gary, he was smiling, and he was genuinely happy for both of them.
He really was. And I saw several photos of him with, what was the woman who was cussed a lot on Gary's season, and you didn't like her because she cussed so much. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I don't remember her name.
Yeah, they look good together. They were posing a lot together. So Joan's trying to match make some of these people. And then they win a big trip to Disney World for their entire family. And usually they give them a trip, but it's usually like Italy or France or something. But that's a perfect one because they fell in love in Disneyland, and all the kids get to go together. The whole family gets, and that's very expensive for that many people to go. So that was nice. And of course, ABC owns Disney and owns The Bachelor, so it's good advertisement for them. And Jessie brought out the mouse ears with the wedding bell hooked to it, and she was like, she put it on for like a split second. I'm not wearing these.
No, she didn't want to mess up her hair.
Do you think she's a little bit of a snob?
I don't know.
I feel like she's a little bit of a snob. I mean, she's getting paid. She's getting a free vacation, and yet she can't hold the mouse ears long enough to get a shot of it. But they probably took a picture of her wearing it somewhere else. And Joan has said in the past that she would marry on television if it came to that, but nothing was mentioned here. But then I listened to an interview with Chalk and Joan today, like I said. I've got tons of notes, but I'm just going to do the ones I thought were interesting. Joan said on this interview that they did tell their families, because it's over now, what are they going to do to them? They told their kids, their families, and a couple of close friends that they had picked each other before the show aired. Chalk's employees did not know, and when he would leave to go visit her, he would say, I'm going on a business trip. And they were like, dang, you keep leaving. After that immediate proposal on the beach, they went back to Joan's room, and Chalk said, okay, so tell me about yourself now that I've proposed to you, which is so strange. He had prepared for the show by memorizing. He looked up Joan and read her biography and her social media and learned all her kids' names. He prepared before you ever went on the show, which he said that could be cringy, but that's just the way I am. That's how anytime I have something to do, I prepare for it. So he memorized her kids, her mom's name, her dog's name, everything, but he never watched The Bachelor. The fantasy suite, they'd stayed up till 3 a.m. just talking, and then he left, because we were wondering, because he kind of insinuated something happened, you know. Chalk has formed a group text with all the men we saw on the Men Tell All, the 15 men, and they communicate every day. He talks to Guy on the phone every week. They have a set appointment to talk every week, and he said that Guy's a great person, which I thought was very interesting. Regarding that hometown date, he says, I've been criticized for it a lot, but we had the big solemn funeral when I left her the first time. It was just the family. It was private. This was just a tree planting. It was a tree planting. He said it was a great opportunity for her to meet all my extended family, because when am I ever going to get all these people together at the time? And he had her add dirt because she never got to meet his mother. She just barely missed meeting her, and he thought she might want to be, you know, she tossed dirt into, because he really felt at that point they were going to become family. So I kind of, you know, I criticized that date, and you did too. But when he explains it that way, that kind of makes sense to me. They're still not living together. They talk 3 times a day. They talk every night before they go to bed. And Chalk always says, what are you wearing? Which made my buttocks cringe. It's up again. They really sound like they're in love. They're going to find an apartment in New York, like he said. And as far as wedding goes, she said that she wants for all this to get over with, all the press, and then them to have like a year or so of just being real people in a real environment and decide, do they want a private wedding? Do they want a big wedding? Do they want a TV wedding? So she has backed up on that Bachelor Nation wedding, because she wants to see, what are they? Who are they? Where do they want it to be? What symbols do they want to use in their wedding and stuff? So that, I mean, that makes sense. They don't really know each other. But Chalk says, oh, but we're getting married, I guarantee it. She says he asks her every day, can we get married today? Can we get married today? So he is gung-ho. He says, you think I'm the one who is not committed because I never married Kathy. But Kathy had children. We both had children. It was 12 years ago. And she wanted to wait till all her kids were in college, and then they could get married because they were still co-parenting. Their spouses were not dead. He said, I wanted to get married. I honored her. So he has no commitment problem. So, I mean, I kind of feel like it might actually work. What's your prediction?
I don't have a clue. All I saw was that he was a player like Gary. Gary the
Bachelor. Ah, you see them the same way, huh?
What?
You see them kind of the same type of person.
Well, he may be genuine.
Yeah. He's crazy about her, Tia.
Well, I know. I heard.
Okay. We meet the new Bachelor. I'm sure we won't be watching that, will we, Tia? Grant. He's a good-looking guy. The young guy. Did you see him?
Yes, but I don't ever watch that. So
yeah. It looked like there's a lot of drama. There always is with those young girls. Who do we want for the Golden Bachelor? Someone fresh?
I think it should be, because I just think that makes it more interesting.
Yeah. All those other guys are kind of, I can think about something wrong about all of them that, but this, but that, but that, but fresh. All right, and I got to mention that Tia, you did win this season. I won last season by picking Teresa. You did not like Teresa. And you won this year because the final 4 were all your picks. So congratulations. You get to take me to lunch.
Oh, yay.
If I had won, you would have had to take me to lunch. All right. Congratulations, though, seriously. You were a good picker. All right. And we also want to say, in case you don't listen to our episodes on Sunday where we do Giggles and Gratitude, kind of our devotional episode on Sundays, and you only listen to You Know Something, today will be our last episode of You Know Something for 2024. And this Sunday's episode of Giggles and Gratitude will be the last episode of the podcast period in 2024. We're going to relax and enjoy the holidays, and we hope you will too. You know, everybody's busying around. Everybody's schedules are weird, so I think it's just a good time to take a break, and we're going to reevaluate everything. And so the show would be back Sunday, January the 4th, in some formation of some sort. We hope you will listen if you've never listened before to the Sunday episode, because that will be the last one. So give it a try and see what you think. And happy holidays to all of you in case we don't see you. We love you. I love you, Tia.
I love you. And I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas, because I do not like happy holidays.
Yeah. I just mean like New Year's, Hanukkah.
No,
Kwanzaa.
there's New Year's too. I forgot about that.
Whatever you celebrate, happy it. We celebrate Christmas, but all right, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.